are these people?
First of all, Craig Murray, I did not see anybody else report on this anywhere, but 4 UN special rapporteurs have written jointly to the UK government demanding explanation for its inappropriate persecution of journalists and political activists under Section 12 of their Terrorism Act. All right, talking about Kate Clarenberg, Craig Murray, Richard Medhurst, Johanna Ross Ganyakova, John Laughlin, Richard Barnard, and of course, Richard Medhurst. All right, so check that out. That will be in the description. Richard Medhurst is a British journalist who also lives in Vienna. I believe he was in Vienna for some event. And so he put out a video the other day, 6.5 minutes, and I'll play this and we'll talk about it afterwards real quick.
My name is Richard Medhurst. I'm an internationally accredited journalist from the UK. On Monday, agents from the Austrian police and intelligence services detained me, raided my home, raided my studio, and then interrogated me. They essentially lured me into a trap. So I received a letter from the government last week from immigration, summoning me for some interview at my residency. I found that a bit odd because I've lived here for a while. I never had any problems. So having nothing to fear, I went to the meeting by myself, and then after a few simple questions, they suddenly issued a thinly veiled threat saying they were considering revoking my residency because of my alleged reporting on Palestine and Lebanon. So of course my answer was no comment. And as soon as I thought everything was over, I was ambushed by a group of plainclothes agents. They entered the room flashing their badges in my face, and they said that they were the Austrian equivalent of MI5 or the FBI. They detained me, and then they served me with a warrant from the state prosecutor to search my home, search my studio, take all of my devices. Why? Because they think that I, a Christian Englishman, am a member of Hamas. Yes, you heard that correctly. They are accusing me of being a member of Hamas, of being part of the Izz al-Din Qassam brigades, of disseminating propaganda, encouraging terrorism, being affiliated with organized crime and a terrorist group. I mean, it's like reading something out of the Twilight Zone. So they seized my phone, and they drove me to my residence, ransacked the place. They even took devices which I repeatedly told them do not belong to me. Then they drove me to my studio and turned the place upside down. So I had to watch my devices being disassembled before my very eyes by a group of strangers. All these tools that I spent years building and investing in, the core of my journalistic profession. They took, in total, they took like 5-6 different laptops and computers, phones, USB sticks, hard drives, DVDs, you name it. And although the warrant was for electronic devices only, for some reason, they took photos of my residence, photos of the office, of the bathroom. They helped themselves to anything they saw, books, papers, documents, cupboards, closets. To tell you the truth, though, the agents treated me kindly and with respect. They didn't deny me any of my basic needs. Now, as you recall, I was unjustly arrested a few months ago in London. They jailed me for almost 24 hours under the Terrorism Act. Strangely enough, last week, the police in England again extended this investigation, and then suddenly this happens in Vienna. I don't think that is mere coincidence, okay? The first thing I asked the Austrian agents was, did my government put you up to this? And they replied, no, Britain doesn't talk to us. Well, forgive me, but I find that a bit hard to believe. I do think that this persecution, this raid, is related to the case in Britain. I think it's being coordinated with Britain. Now, my colleague Stefania Marizzi, who works on the Snowden papers with Glenn Greenwald, she reported last month in Il Fatto Quotidiano that the British police seized a graphene OS device from me and that it was very unlikely that they'd be able to crack it. So I suppose that's why Britain asked the Austrians to raid me, grab anything they could find, and go on this massive fishing expedition. The warrant even mentions my arrest in London to try and bolster their case. The Austrian agents, they asked me for the passwords to my devices, and I said no, because as a journalist, I have an ethical, a professional obligation to protect my sources. None of them were compromised. During the raid, I spoke briefly with the techs who were extracting my devices, from one nerd to another. And they told me that if they can't crack the devices, they send them outside sometimes to other countries, to other law enforcement agencies, and ask them for help. So that further indicated to me that this could very well be related to what's happening in the UK against me. Now, all these devices are work devices. They're my journalistic tools. I have been left with literally nothing. I mean, just to film this was a struggle, Okay, believe me. No phone, no computer, no SD cards, nothing. They cut me off from my work, from my contacts, from my family, from my friends. And the next day they drop by and give me a list of all the things they seized. It was 19 pages long. As a matter of fact, I've spent the last months writing a book on cybersecurity, as I'm unable to report and work normally under these circumstances. And they even confiscated my book. The book that I've been working on for 2 years now. I just riffled through the manuscripts and the notes like it was nothing. So after watching all of my gear being dismantled, I was then ordered under this warrant to participate in an interrogation. So these agents, they took me down with them to the station, and I said 2 words: no comment. And that was it. Then they fingerprinted me, they palm printed me, they took mugshots and my DNA. And after 6-7 hours of this, I was finally allowed to leave. I categorically deny all of these accusations by the British and Austrian governments. I'm not a terrorist, I am a journalist, and they bloody well know it. Some of these Austrian accusations are very similar to the British ones, which again tells me that this is somehow coordinated. But it's actually a massive escalation. They are accusing me of being a member of a proscribed organization. I mean, this is insanity on another level. This is detached from reality. And they're trying to make a snowball out of nothing. So now, because of my reporting, I'm under investigation for quote-unquote terrorism in 2 countries. I could face up to 14 years in prison in the UK, plus another 2 to 5 years if I don't give them the passwords to my phones, and maybe another 10 years in prison in Austria, and my residency potentially being revoked. And why? For what? For journalism. Because of my reporting. I mean, this is insane. This is disproportionate state violence. And it's not just an attack on me. This is an attack on the entire profession, on freedom of speech, on democracy itself. They are denying me my human right to free speech. I'm being punished and persecuted in my country of origin in the UK and in my country of residence in Austria. I come from a family that worked to establish peace around the world, a family that raised me to stand against terrorism and injustice. Please help raise awareness. This is not just an affront on me, but on all of us. Inform your friends, inform your family, your colleagues, write to your representatives in Parliament. And again, I want to stress how the police, they came in here in this room. They seized all my equipment, all of my gear. They left me with nothing. If you're able to, please consider contributing on GoFundMe and PayPal so that I can get back up and running. The links are down below. It would really make a difference and go a long way. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. Okay. So, as you see scrolling along that ticker right there, journalism is not a crime. As he says right there, journalism is not a crime. As I said right underneath, journalism is not a crime, standing alongside you as I have from day one. Richard's one of the people, and the one thing that Richard didn't mention, which is funny, is he thinks this is being done by his country and by England, but we know that there is actually somebody orchestrating this above all of that. And it's not the United States either. And no, not over here. It's Israel. This is being done by Israel because he is one of the strongest, most outspoken voices against Israeli war crimes. Passionate, angry, and just in so many ways. All right? And they don't have an answer for this. They don't know what to do. So their only answer is shut it down. All right? Dissident wrote an article about this today about the global lawfare campaign against pro-Palestine reporters continues. All right. And this is because not just of his journalism, but who he is reporting about and the war crimes that they're reporting about.
You got no friends in Washington, D.C.
Now, Kevin Gostola, another Indie Media Award honoree, as Richard, of course, is. All Richard Medhurst is guilty of is journalism. Hear him recount this major escalation in a widespread crackdown on freedom of expression in the Western world, particularly against those who speak up for Palestinians. And that is why he is being persecuted. This is why they're coming after you still, because you've been calling them out on their bullshit the past 5 years, and it's embarrassing. You've done it within their ecosystem using their tools, and that's what makes them maddest. So they try to silence you because nothing else works. All right. Don't forget that he was also one of the most outspoken journalists who followed Julian Assange's trial closer than just about anybody else. Is this retaliation still for that? Sure. Doesn't hurt. Wanted to call attention and give a shout out to the amazing Polly St. George, at Fringe Views on Twitter. She recorded a video very raw the other day. She's like, I'm just trying to figure out the tech and figure this out. It's up on Odysee. It's up on Bitchute. She's calling out what a problem Rumble is and why they are part of this new narrative network. I actually had it up on here, but she put up a chart. This chart, okay, lays out across that network using Rumble, Locals, Twitter, the Trump Media Group, and the Tucker Carlson Network. Here are the personalities. Here are the cross platforms that are being used to promote. Who are the investors and who are the now alt media executives that, oh, wow, they just happen to now be part of the federal government. Watch this half hour.
It's the mainstream alternative media.
The Memmies.
And a bunch of people have been calling that out.
Yep. Well, she's been calling it out for a long time. This chart's been around for over a year. And she was one of the first people I saw putting all this stuff together alongside Whitney and others. So go check that out. I also wanted to call attention to the fact that we wrote an article, Reef and I. You know, I'd seen all of these, especially with the Kennedy confirmation hearing for his Health and Human Services Secretary job. All these Kennedy defenders that had disappeared into the woodwork months ago when he gave up his campaign and decided to endorse Trump in exchange for we didn't know what. All of a sudden, they came back out of the woodwork. So I decided to, along with Reef's help, put together a list of a whole bunch of reasons why, no matter what you feel about his stance on vaccines or personal health or anything having to do with healthcare, this man has had so many personal problems around him, and he has fucked over so many people around him that I don't trust him to be anywhere in any position of power, let alone in charge of the nation's healthcare. All right. So we chart out a list of 15 plus examples of corruption, family weird stuff having to do with exotic animals. What the fuck is that? I don't want HHS secretaries having weird exotic animal stuff. All right. Any of these red flags listed by themselves.
What's his name? No, I can't remember. Not
Steve
Carol
Irwin?
Baskins, but the other guy.
Irwin? Oh.
No, the other Tiger King, man.
Oh, I don't remember his name. But I said, like, first of all, I'm not even mentioning the V word, because I don't want to get his supporters wetting their pants that this is a shitlib thing that's attacking whatever his stance is there, because he has so many red flags that you shouldn't even get to that position before you decide that he's too corrupt to be anywhere near it or support. I don't get it. I really don't. Maybe somebody can try to lay it out for me at some point. But the fact that this guy sold a VP seat for $12.5 million. And again, there are 18 examples. Yeah. Mostly that if his name was Robert Johnson and not Robert F. Kennedy, there's no way this guy would be in contention for anything. But because of who he is and what he sat around and who he's connected to, that's why he might even be in contention to get this job or any other. And by the way, even if he doesn't, it doesn't matter. They're going to put whoever they want in place anyway. They've got a backup already ready, sitting in the wings in case he doesn't. And they kind of, I think, hope that he doesn't get confirmed so they can turn around and say, sorry, Bobby, we tried. Thanks for the endorsement. Everybody wins. I think the same thing about Kash Patel, and I think the same thing about Tulsi. I don't think they care if any one of those three gets in or not, because it's not going to affect their agenda one way or another. And in a way, it's a smokescreen, and they hope that it's a distraction for as long as possible. All right. We're getting ready to go to boats.
Which we got sent more stuff that we could have added right after this. Right after we put that out, there was like 4 people who were like, this, and this.
Oh, yeah.
This, and also on his vaccine stance, here's this.
And the law firm of Morgan and Morgan that he's involved with. Also bad shit.
Uh-huh.
Just, yeah. So if you are able to in any way, please share the stream. First of all, take care of your friends, take care of your family, as Care Bear likes to say. But if you're able to, and you've got a few bucks, Cash App, $Indie News Network is the easiest, best way to do that without fees. ko-fi.com/Indie News Network or paypal.me/Indie News Network eliminates the Ko-fi fee. And then Substack, that's our
shout
newsletter.
Out Care Bear who gave us $5 earlier.
Hey, yeah, no, thank you, Care Bear.
Appreciate you, fam.
Hell yeah, brother. That's our wall of fame. Those are the best people in the world. Those are the people we live. Because guess what? They support our network. Who are these people? Well, there's their names right there. Those are the ones that have actually contributed and tipped our channel and tipped our live streams and are trying to contribute to the media they want to see and funding the media they want to see. Because corporate media ain't telling you stuff like that. These are the people that would help us get our reporting back if we ever got shut down. These are the amazing people that are on our wall of fame that support our channel, our network, and what we do here. They fund the media they want to see. Show me the money! We've got Cash App is $Indie News Network. They'll be down in the ticker scrolling there. You've got ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, and you can also subscribe monthly. Yes, that you can subscribe at innnewsletter.com on a monthly or an annual basis. Certainly, we are demonetized, and YouTube doesn't like stories like that. So please, if you can, will not be televised. It certainly will not. But I don't also think that it will end up allowed on YouTube in the end, which is why we're working toward a self-hosting solution at some point that we're going to be able to direct everyone to a website, and then we'll be able to chat via a Discord server, and
modern problems require modern solutions.
All will hopefully be avoidable of the major censors, so we can keep saying what we want to say, and nobody's going to try to stop us. Support independent media because we need it more than ever.
Yep. Keep listening to what Boats have to tell you, fam. Good night.
Mwah. Ciao, baby.
No! We just fucking lost the stream!
Can keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, I play civil when all these dead won't make you listen. What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.